Financial market forecasting, it can only really do two things for you. It can make you money, and it can lose you money. Bad forecasting is deadly. This year, we lost over 1,000 hedge funds to bankruptcy. Let's just all take a moment to commemorate our fallen brothers. That's enough. Myriada is the solution. On the Myriada platform, groups of professionals are forecasting market movements with extraordinary accuracy. With Myriada, you're guaranteed a clearer view of the future. With collective intelligence, existing forecasting techniques are enhanced beyond recognition. So while we're on the subject, there are broadly two ways to forecast, quantitatively and qualitatively. The problem with the first one is that model-driven, numerical forecasts always struggle with the human aspects of the market, the nuances, the fear, the greed. As a physicist, I'm actually obliged to quote Einstein at least once per presentation. But he puts it perfectly. Many of the things you can't count, they really count. And as for the alternative, qualitative forecast, it doesn't matter how smart someone appears to be. Eventually, they're going to get it horribly wrong. On our own, humans are very, very erratic forecasters. A friend of mine at a major investment bank admitted this to me recently. Funnily enough, he didn't want any credit for this quote. So you might say that quantitative approaches have too little human in them, and qualitative have too much. Myriada is the best of both worlds, just the right amount of human. So this is Myriada in action. An analyst is using it to impart his prediction. He enters it in, but this is the interesting part. At the same time, members of his team are putting in their predictions, and these are all aggregated together to produce a collective forecast. So this is a collective forecast. As you can see, in real time, individual predictions are being added to a distribution. The top part of that distribution, the peak, is what the crowd is collectively judging to be the most likely outcome. Now, this is a real forecast from real people. We launched on Monday, and we asked our users to try and anticipate a major economic indicator, one that really affects the markets. Now, we could not afford to get this wrong. Let me tell you why. This forecast went out on the front page of the Financial Times. That's not Photoshop. That's actually us. So back to the forecast. No one knows what the result is going to be in advance, but as it happens, the professionals, the analysts from Wall Street, they said it was going to be 58. Now, with our peak at 58.5, and with this very fine-grained approach, we're actually significantly disagreeing with these guys, the guys who are paid to do this. I have to admit, just before the forecast came out, the result came out, I was a teeny bit nervous. But lo and behold, it landed right smack bang in the middle of our peak, and we absolutely killed the analyst consensus. Oh, thank you so much. Let's just look a little bit at the forecast in a little more detail. So the peak is what we call the group view, and this is the amazing thing. The error on the group view is always lower than the error on the predictions from which it was made. In other words, when a group combines their forecast together, they're guaranteed to gain from that. This increase in accuracy, which is shared by everybody, is directly correlated to the diversity of the group. So more diverse means more accurate. What can a simple principle like that do for you in practice? Well, we actually took 100 positions on the markets that were all collectively driven. They came from collective signals. And we ended up with a crazy return of 22.5%. So just for some context, the average hedge fund in the same period made a measly 1.69. We managed to do this with a small group of amateurs, which means what we've unlocked here is the wisdom of the crowds, but without the need for a crowd. Which means, theoretically, this approach could be deployed almost anywhere. But I'll start by showing you how it might work in a hedge fund. So say a hedge fund manager wants to know what the euro-dollar exchange rate is going to be a month from now. He builds and distributes a task out to his analysts and his traders. They form a view and impart it into the system. It's then aggregated to produce a collective forecast. At the next investment meeting, they'll use that to form a strategy or make an investment decision. The hedge fund manager has leveraged existing human capital from within his firm. And more importantly, the position they take is far more likely to be profitable than if it had been arrived at using just individual skill. They make more money, happy customer. Here's the market opportunity for a platform like this. We can work with market research. We can work directly with institutional buy-side. Now, here's the total revenue made by the markets division of investment banks. Now, out of that 67 billion, a healthy 16 came from Goldman Sachs. God bless them. Now, this is the amazing part. almost half of it came from what they describe as principal transactions, which is a nice way of saying prop trading, which itself is a nice way of saying gambling. But it really serves to illustrate how valuable anticipating the markets can be. With this array of partners, we're building powerful groups of forecasters. We have over 50 fund managers and senior traders on our platform already, and it's growing so quickly, we're going to have to cap it. The combination of our technology and their expertise is going to produce the world's most valuable data stream. I'd like to just remind you that we achieved crazy portfolio return with a group of amateurs. Just try to imagine how powerful this will be when it's in the right hands. Thank you very much.